There are seasons in life when you don't even know how to explain what you've lost. You just feel it. Time passed, things changed, people left, opportunities slipped away, and somewhere along the way, you started wondering if God still remembers what you prayed for. This message is for those moments. Not when everything is loud and joyful, but when restoration feels distant and quiet, because what you thought was lost, God has been holding on to. Many of you listening have carried a kind of loss that doesn't show on the surface. You still wake up, you still go to work, you still smile when you're supposed to, but inside, something feels unfinished. It's not just about money or a missed opportunity. It's about time you can't rewind, about prayers you whispered again and again, wondering if heaven heard you the first time, about plans you made with hope, only to watch them fall apart quietly. Some losses hurt because they happened suddenly. Others hurt because they happened slowly, over months, even years, until one day you realized how much had slipped away. And the hardest part is this: you didn't lose everything because you were reckless. You didn't lose it because you didn't try hard enough. In many cases, you lost it while doing your best to stay faithful, honest, and patient. That's what makes the pain confusing. You ask yourself questions no one else hears. Did I miss my moment? Did I wait too long? Did God change his mind about me? Loss has a way of making silence feel like abandonment, but silence is not absence. God does not overlook loss. He does not dismiss what hurt you, and he does not forget what was taken from you unfairly. Every season you endured, every door that closed without explanation, every night you stayed strong when no one checked on you. None of it went unseen. What you thought was gone forever is still accounted for in heaven, and the fact that this loss still weighs on your heart is not weakness. It is evidence that restoration is being prepared. At some point, loss turns into waiting, and waiting is where faith is tested the most. You're no longer in the moment of shock. You've accepted that something ended, but what hasn't arrived yet is the next chapter. This is where questions grow louder. You wonder why God would allow something to be taken if he always planned to restore it. Why he would let doors close before showing you new ones. Why the answer feels so slow when the pain has already done its work. But delay does not mean denial. In Scripture, God often waits until a situation looks irreversible before he moves. Not because he enjoys watching people struggle, but because timing matters. If God restored too early, you would settle for less than what he intended. If he answered too quickly, you might return to the same place that limited you before. Delay is often protection. During this waiting season, God is doing two things at the same time. He is rearranging what surrounds you and rebuilding what's inside you. Your patience is being stretched because your capacity is increasing. Your discernment is sharpening because what comes next requires wisdom. Your tolerance for what once drained you is fading because you are being prepared for better. That's why certain environments feel uncomfortable now. Why familiar spaces no longer feel safe or fulfilling. Why you can't ignore the quiet feeling that says, I can't stay here forever. This isn't restlessness, it's alignment. God is making sure that when restoration comes, it does not collapse under the weight of who you've become. What feels like delay is actually God refusing to rush something sacred. And when the timing is right, what returns to you will not look like the past. It will be stronger, cleaner, more secure. You're not being held back, you're being positioned. Most people think restoration begins with what they lost on the outside. Money, time, relationships, opportunities. But God doesn't start there. He starts with you. Before he restores what was taken from your hands, he restores what was shaken in your heart. Because if the outside changes before the inside is healed, the blessing becomes a burden. This is why this season has been quieter than you expected. Why there hasn't been a dramatic turnaround yet. Why it feels like God is working beneath the surface instead of in obvious ways. Right now, God is restoring your clarity, the ability to see without fear, to decide without confusion, to move without second-guessing yourself. He is restoring your confidence, not arrogance, but the quiet knowing that you are not behind, not forgotten, and not disqualified. He is restoring your identity. Somewhere along the way, loss tried to convince you that you were the mistake, that if you were better, stronger, or more faithful, things would have turned out differently. That lie is being dismantled. God is separating what happened to you from who you are, what failed from what still carries purpose, what ended from what is still alive. That's why your perspective is changing, why you no longer chase validation the way you once did, why you're less willing to over-explain, overgive, or overstay in places that don't honor you. This is restoration in motion. And as this inner work settles, something else begins to happen. Your boundaries strengthen, your voice steadies, your spirit stops negotiating with what drains it. This is not you becoming hard. This is you becoming whole. And when God finishes restoring the foundation, what returns to your life will stay. Because restoration doesn't repeat the past, it redeems it. There comes a moment when what God has been rebuilding inside you begins to show on the outside. Not loudly, not all at once, but clearly. People start responding to you differently, even though you didn't announce a change. Opportunities begin to surface without you chasing them. Conversations shift, doors open, timing aligns. This is when restoration moves from preparation into manifestation. What returns to you now doesn't come back fragile or uncertain. It comes back aligned. God does not restore randomly. He restores intentionally. The things that re-enter your life in this season come with clarity, structure, and sustainability. No more confusion attached. No more anxiety managing it. No more fear of losing it again. This is why God took His time. You're not receiving what you once begged for. You're receiving what you're now ready to steward. And this is where many people misunderstand restoration. They expect it to look like a rewind. God makes it look like an upgrade. What comes back may not look exactly the same, but it will function better. What replaces what you lost will carry less stress and more peace. What grows now will not require you to abandon yourself to keep it. That's how you know it's God. Restoration from God does not exhaust you. It stabilizes you. And as this unfolds, you may notice something else. The pain that once controlled your reactions no longer has the same power. Memories lose their sharp edges. The past stops pulling you backward. Not because it didn't matter, but because it no longer defines you. You are stepping into a season where what hurt you becomes a reference point, not a prison, a testimony, not a trigger. This is the fruit of true restoration. And the best part? God isn't finished. What you're seeing now is only the beginning of what He's returning. Multiplied, refined, and secured. This is the season where you stop proving and start living. Where effort gives way to alignment. Where striving is replaced with steadiness. Where you no longer measure your life by what you lost, but by what you've become. God didn't rush this process because what He was preparing had to last. What you're stepping into now is not fragile. It's rooted, it's protected, it's sustainable. You may not see every detail yet, but you don't need to. Clarity will come as you move, not before you move. Trust that. The same God who allowed the breaking also oversaw the rebuilding. Nothing was wasted. Nothing slipped through his hands. You are not late. You are not behind. You are right on time for the life that can finally hold what's coming. Walk forward without fear. Receive without guilt. Rest without apology. Restoration is no longer something you're waiting for. It's something you're walking in. So take a moment right now and let this settle. You don't need to chase what's meant for you. You don't need to fight to be seen. You don't need to relive what already ended. What God is doing next will come to you, quietly, clearly, and without confusion. There will be no rush, no fear, no pressure to prove anything. When it arrives, it will feel right. Peace will confirm it. Stability will surround it, and your spirit will recognize it immediately. This is how you know you've crossed the line from survival into restoration. You're not starting over from nothing. You're starting from experience, wisdom, and depth. What once hurt you no longer controls you. What once delayed you no longer defines you. And what once felt lost was never gone. It was being prepared. Let go of the question marks. Release the need to understand every step. Just walk forward. God is already ahead of you.